Hey, what's up? It's Chris, founder of Finxter.com, and in today's video we are going to explore the all-important question: how to make more money as a freelancer. So let's dive into the question. But first of all, I want to welcome our new Finxter freelancer students. I'll read them shortly. Sorry for possible mispronunciations. So welcome Numanul, Mikhail, Michael, Jack, Chris, Adrian, Bongani, Juris, and Piotr. So welcome to the course. Great to have you on board. Appreciate you joining the course. So we have like an increased demand because of the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale of the freelancer course. But I usually create one welcome video per new freelancer student, or I try sometimes. So sometimes I don't even manage to do this. But I think now I just like create a welcome video for all of you, but feel appreciated with. I hope you feel appreciated with this welcome videos. And yeah, if you seek personal contact with me or so, you can always contact me via the Discord mastermind group, for example, where we share each other's success and try to help each other out. Okay, so let's dive into the question: how to make more money. So there are some common beliefs, like and misconceptions on how to make more money. All those, there may be some truth to it, right? If you work harder, for example, or you work smarter, or you work longer, probably you'll earn like a bit more money, right? But this is not at the root. So it's just, like, I would say it's not like the reason why there's another source for. So if you make more money, so for example, if you work harder or longer, you of course will make more money, right? Because you work more hours, but it's not sustainable. And the reason you make more money is not because you work harder or you work longer, but the reason is another one, and we will dive into the reason next, right after this slide. I will give you the main reason, or the main focus you should attain, you should target if you want to increase your income. So some people even think it's about academic degrees, but I think it's not at all. It's not at all about academic degrees, right? So there are very, very successful people without academic degrees in freelancing, for example, on Upwork. You don't even have to mention your academic degree, but even if you have one, if you have if you do some other things wrongly on Upwork, you won't even get a job, right? So it's not about academic degree. It can, academic degree can provide some insight into your personality and therefore correlate with higher income, but this is not sure at all, right? Sometimes an academic degree can even be harmful, and I think there are always some opportunity costs. Of course, if you spend 10 years on university, you cannot spend those same 10 years on doing something else, for example, in the marketplace, earning money for yourself, right, and creating your skills, the skills of a practitioner, and so on. Okay, so there are other people always try to find some quick and easy wins, for example, high risk investments or just be lucky. Other people think they need to network and know the right people and stuff. But this is not these are not the reasons why people earn more money and how these are not strategies, or it is not like a formula that you can apply to actually make more money. So how can you make more money in general? The right way is to provide more value, right? To create more value. You will, your income is usually proportional to the value you create. And value is like an abstract term. What does it mean? And we define it here as a product of three factors, right? So we have individual impact. So how much impact do you have actually, the task you finish or the problem you solve for a person? How much impact does it have for this particular person? Then we have the rarity, right? So how rare is it actually? Is it can billions of people provide the same value, or are there only a couple of 100,000 people, or are there only 10 people who can provide the same value in the world, right? So if it is more rare, then of course you will get paid more for your service. The third factor is the reach. So if you provide this value, say you create huge value but only for a single person, usually your income will be relatively low, right? But if you create huge value for a huge number of persons, then you will have great income, right? So we have these three factors that mainly determine your value creation and thereby determine how much money you earn. And let's have a look at some examples. For example, we like have this matrix where on like in each row is actually one kind of job description, right? And it's just like just per example, I try to actually quantify these different job descriptions. But I mean, I don't want to be politically incorrect here, right? I mean, factory workers create value, like hospital doctors create value, and so on. It's also, but it's just my opinion. I just try to fill in the numbers. You can fill in your own number, but usually, like, the important thing is here to check out the this final score, right? Which is the product of, so the result of the multiplication of those three factors, right? And if one of the factors is very small, so even if two factors are very large, if one factor is very small, it usually makes the outcome very small as well, right? And then the income is just like, it's just the income is just would be proportional to the result of this product. So for example, if you have a factory worker, individual impact is relatively low, rarity is low, so billions of people can do the same job. The reach is relatively low, and so the income would be like 0.0021. So like, this is not like a nominal income, but it's a relative income, so it is relatively low number, so the income would be relatively low, right? Whereas a hospital doctor has a huge impact, like one, so like a maximum impact. For example, if the hospital doctor rescues saves your life, right? The impact is massive. The rarity is pretty large as well, so because you have to go through like 10 years of study, and you have to learn a lot and know a lot, and I mean, it's pretty rare to be a doctor, right? The reach is small. This is a problem. If you're a hospital doctor, your reach is very small. You only reach a couple of people per day, and it's not like therefore, like, the income is much higher. It's like one order of magnitude higher, like, is it 30 times higher? So the income of a hospital doctor may be 30 times higher than the income of a factory worker. This is realistic, right? So say if a factory worker makes, I don't know, maybe 12,000 USD per year, a hospital doctor may make like 6 figures, right? And then you have a Google coder, for example, has less impact than the doctor to a certain individual, right? Because search is important, but it's not like life or death important, right? It's less impact, and it's maybe same rarity, but the reach of the Google coder is much higher, like it's 4 times higher, and therefore he can compensate for having a lower impact by having a higher reach, right? Because Google reaches billions, so if a Google coder releases a new feature, this also touches billions, right? And therefore the income would be the same, maybe, right? 6 figures, like the doctor, 6 figures, but both may earn 6 figures, even though they have some different factors here. One has higher impact, the hospital doctor has high impact but low reach, the Google coder has low impact but high reach. Then we have maybe a social network founder, right? These are like, we are now talking billionaire status, right? So they have individual impact is even higher, like individual impact. So impact on a single person may be similar to a Google coder impact, maybe a bit higher. Maybe you check your social network more often than so maybe a social network user checks the social network status more often than a Google search. Maybe it's a bit higher, and the rarity is maybe even higher. So say you have a very specialized social network, so it's very rare social network. But then you have like the reach is massive, right? It's one, like they reach billions of people, for example. Now the income of a social network founder is like an order of magnitude higher, even more, right? So I mean, this is no exact science, but you see like the trend we can point out here with this table. And like, I just for fun, I added Bitcoin here. Individual impact would be very high, right? Because it's money is one of the most impactful things. Rarity is very high. We only have one big social network like Bitcoin. The rarity is the size of the network. It's very high, and the reach is very high, so we have like even higher scale in income. And I mean, you can then add any function, like use any function on top of this income outcome. This value outcome to actually obtain the final income. But it could also be like a nonlinear function, right? If this is a bit higher here, it could be significantly higher in terms of the income. If the value is a bit higher, it could be significantly higher in terms of the income. But it's just an example that showcases, okay, these three factors determine your income in the end, because they determine your value. So we have individual impact, rarity, and reach. Okay, so let's dive into the question, how to create more value as a freelancer. In essence, you have to optimize the three value factors, right? You need to optimize the individual impact you have, the rarity, and the reach you have. And you can do this in a very structured way. So, for example, to increase your individual impact you have as a freelancer, you should seek problems and solve them for clients. You should not fear problems, or because most people naturally, they try to if they see a problem, they try to go the other way, right? They don't want to tackle the problem because they fear the problem. But you as a freelancer, you should seek the client's problem and then solve it for clients, because now only then you actually create value for the client. Then you should delight your customers or clients and not just satisfy them. And this is very important. So try to create an emotion with it. Try to over deliver. Create more value than you take in payment. What does it mean to over deliver? For example, you can there are many, like in the course I will dive into all these different strategies, how you can actually over deliver and how you should actually go through this gig this gig loop. And you will also learn it by taking the first gig for Finxter. And I will give you many strategies and tips how you can create more value for clients. But just like on a general note, I mean, there are at least 3 ways you can over deliver. For example, you can give unexpected great communication with clients, right? So you just, for example, you can ask them, try to figure out their problems, right? I mean, clients would be already positively surprised if a freelancer asks them for the problems they have and try to dig deep, try to figure out the real problems they have and why they hired you. If you ask a couple of questions, you get the answers. You ask a couple of follow-up questions. So maybe you will dive into the exact need of the client, and the client will already be happy just because of the communication, right? And then if you have a deadline, say you need to submit in 7 days, then submit in 5 days. Now this is another way to over deliver. And then in terms of quality, for example, you can always give something on top. For example, if you are hired as a data analyst, you can give an additional chart analysis that you weren't hired for. You just give one more. Or if you are hired to create a trading bot, for example, or a chat bot, then you simply create a second bot variant, right? So you create one bot for the client as hired, and but then you create another one, like a variant, adding a small thing or changing a small thing. Often this can be done in minutes, right? Because you already have the first one. You just copy paste the first one and modify a couple of lines of code and just give it as a bonus, right? And doing those things will actually, if you do those things, and actually if you do all of those things, like the client will perceive your value as orders of magnitude higher, right? And this will actually cause them to be delighted. And this means you have a higher individual impact. So one of your factors here in this formula, the first factor, as a result, will then increase. Good, let's dive into the second one. So we have rarity. How can you make your service more rare as a freelancer? First of all, I think one of the most important things is to niche down, right? To actually don't be a generalist. We will see an example later, but be very specific. Like find your specific niche. It should be like very specific. For example, Solana blockchain developer, right? Something specific blockchain, specific technology, specific type of problem. Niche down, right? Don't be like a general coder. I would solve all coding problems for you, right? Don't be a Python developer. I will create a Python program for you. Rather, like, try to be very specific. For example, I will create a dashboard application for you, something like this. Yeah. So it is much more specific, and it solves a specific client need. And if the client can decide between 2 developers, one offering Python services, one offering a dashboard application and the client seeks a dashboard application, they will never hire the general Python developer. They will rather hire the dashboard developer, right? And this means because every client searches for specifics, if you have a very low probability of getting hired if you are a generalist, right? Therefore, you should try to niche down. And I like all of the concepts I discuss here. We dive in more detail in the course. But just as on a general note, we also have on the Finxter Computer Science Academy, we have a Finxter niche selection course where I have many of those Werkam videos where I present different niches and the earning potential and just give you some ideas on interesting niches in the Upwork space. And the course is free for you as a freelancer course student. Okay, so then a second idea to optimize your Rarity is to become a top 5% coder in your niche. So you have the niche, right? So you have niche down, now become a top 5% coder in your niche. And for Upwork, this specifically means to become top rated. If you're top rated, per definition, you are top 5% on Upwork in top 5% of the freelancers, right? So if you get this top rated badge, it's easy to get. You just need to have high job satisfaction, job success, and this actually comes from the previous point, individual impact, that we just discussed. If you over deliver, if you delight your customers, if you solve their problems, you will get high job success score, which means you will get a top rated badge, you become top 5% in the niche, and you will become more rar, right? A rar good, and there will be like more demand for you, for your services. The third idea is to obviously always improve. If you become better and better skill-wise, you become more a rare commodity. That is not interchangeable, right? If you have a lot of skills, you are less interchangeable. So, for example, how can you do this? I mean, an example would be to read half an hour per day business books and half an hour per day coding book. Just reserve 1 hour per day, read those books. Your skills will just explode, right? If you do this for a couple of years, your skill will explode like nothing else, right? And another way, of course, is to do what you are doing, right? The Freelancer course and the Finxter Computer Science Academy, so join courses as well and stuff. So these things, if you do them over a long period of time, the actually knowledge compounds. As Warren Buffett said, your knowledge will compound and your Rarity will increase geometrically as a result. Okay, the last point is reach. Upwork has 700k clients, so you have a high potential reach as a freelancer on Upwork if you join the freelancing platforms. Here I actually did a case study. I searched for blockchain on Upwork, and what do I get? I get like the top rated. It is maybe hard to see, but the top rated freelancers here are actually the guys that were recommended by Upwork. So Upwork recommends mostly the top-rated freelancers, which means that if you are a top-rated top 5% freelancer, you will have like exponentially increased reach on the platform, right? Because Upwork now starts promoting you. And the number of clients grows significantly, like 25% per year. So you have like the reach is even growing over time if you stay long enough on the platform. They will promote you. Upwork will promote you. Upwork is not only a search engine, but it's also a social network. So even if for example, if clients post new projects, Upwork will actually also recommend freelancers for this new project. Also based on, for example, which freelancers you have already saved and stuff, right? If you have you can click this heart here to find freelancers that you have saved as a client that actually you enjoyed working with. And of course, if you delight your clients, you have a high job success score, if you're top rated, then you actually are also on this love lists of some clients that have actually saved you for the future, and Upwork recognizes this as well. So it's like if you like everything you see, all those points, individual impact, Rarity, and reach, depend on you becoming a top rated freelancer. So I think this is I know this is one of the most important things you can focus on the Upwork freelancing platform. Okay, so to conclude, let's have a look at 2 examples. We have Alice. Alice is a top-rated Solidity engineer with 95% job success score. So the value, individual impact is relatively high, say 0.4. Rarity is relatively high, 0.4. reach is relatively high, 0.4. And if you multiply this, we get like this score, say 0.064, and say this is proportional to a 150k per year income. Then on the other hand, we have Bob. Bob is just a designer. So he's less focused. Here, the niche is much more general. Therefore, the rarity is much smaller. With 70% job success scores, so also the impact is much smaller. You see the individual impact is much smaller. The rarity is much smaller. And the reach is much smaller as well because they are not top rated. They don't get the reach. Like Alice gets the reach. Alice reaches 10 times, 100 times more potential clients. Bob reaches like only a small fraction because of the low job success score and the comparatively worst job he actually creates, the value that he delivers to individual clients. So you see, like the income, if you multiply this, it's 0.008, and this is actually 1/8 of the value of Alice, and the income would be proportional. So 1/8 of 150k would be like 18k, something like this. Okay, so these are, I would say, pretty realistic numbers. Of course, it's not exact science. It also depends on other factors. Luck is a factor, but you cannot actually you cannot determine its impact. You cannot control it, right? But these are things you can control. You can control the impact you create per client. You can control the rarity. You can control the reach, and as a result, your income will be like not far above or far below the income you deserve in terms of the value you create. Okay, so in the course we will dive into all of those concepts in much more detail, and you will also get your first gig for Finxter, like creating your first success on Upwork, positive success score, and a spiral and momentum towards higher and higher levels of success. And you can finish your first gig for Finxter. Thanks all new freelancers for joining the Freelancer course, and yeah, see you in the course. Bye.